The enemy arrives, escape into the night.
I can do this. Human Centipede 2. Calm down, Jesse. Calm down. Jesse is not here today with me because I don't want him to have to go through this. The Human Centipede 2. If you're like most people, you've seen Human Centipede 1, you want to see what it's about. You're 6, so you thought that maybe it would be cool or whatever. You know, the first one wasn't that bad. Aside from being different, it was just something that generally made people sick. But the first one actually made sense, and it was like scientifically accurate and everything. It made it a legit movie, and it was, you know, it wasn't awesome, but it wasn't that bad. Which brings me to this movie, The Human Centipede 2. It is just far from the first movie. I wanted to watch this movie. I was actually excited to watch this movie because I thought that, you know, Human Centipede was crazy. What are they going to do to make this one crazy and more sick or whatever? And boy, was I wrong. First of all, this movie was in black and white. Second flag was, when it started up, it said IFC Productions, and I was just kind of like... Thirdly, the killer in this movie is, like, mentally retarded. Literally. He has some sort of sickness along with that, so he's always coughing and using it as an inhaler and everything. He doesn't speak a word throughout the movie at all. He looks like a mutated frog person. He's got huge eyes that bulge out of his head, and he's like... The plot of this movie wasn't a horrible plot. This mentally disabled guy that's unstable, clearly, is obsessed with the Human Centipede, the first movie. Like, he watches the first movie and decides, I guess I'm gonna do this. And he's really sick. Like, he watches it and, like, touches himself and licks himself and everything. He's always, like, touching the centipedes and stuff, and it's really creepy. The actors in this movie are, like, horrible. The worst acting ever. I tried so hard not to kill myself. There's random scenes where, like, they're sitting at a table and then all of a sudden some random guy will walk up and start freaking out on them. But they're all bad actors, so I'm still suffering. That's an hour and 27 minutes that I'm never gonna get back. So the acting was bad, the movie was bad, it was horrible. Like, everything about it was horrible. I shit you not. The man actually masturbated with sandpaper. I'm serious. He took sandpaper, tested it out, and got off on it. This guy's not even a doctor. You know, the old one, the surgeon, one guy was kind of creepy and everything, and he knew what he was doing, you know. He used to separate twins or whatever. This guy is just literally a retard who has no knowledge of anything. Half the people he tries to capture, he, like, shoots them in the head, shoots them all over the place, and beats them to fuck with a crowbar. This guy is ridiculous. And this movie goes nowhere very fast. Also, in this movie, I don't know if they just didn't even think about, you know, like, a script or anything, or if they threw a bunch of people in a room and said, make me a movie. But this guy puts, like, a one-layer thin row of duct tape around, like, their ankles and hands and just leaves them in this warehouse for days, and half of them are perfectly fine and they could just stand up or pull apart the duct tape, but they lay on their stomach for days pretending that they're helpless. There's nothing wrong with their knees yet, mind you. Nothing at all. They could easily just get up and possibly hop away when he just leaves them there, you know, alone. But I don't think they thought of this because they're so stupid. I'd like to save a couple of your souls and tell you this now. Do not watch this movie. It is literally the worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life. This movie makes Trolls 2 look like the greatest thing that had ever happened to movies. It's a piece of shit. Don't watch it. Don't even think about it, because I know you're thinking about it, and I'm trying to help you out. Do not watch this movie. If I have to rate this movie, I would give it like a -0. Literally, the worst thing ever. -0 out of 10. Do not watch it. It's horrible. I have suffered enough. And I'm just trying to warn everybody else out there. So you can take it or leave it. Fucking centipedes.
Everybody run now, break into another time.